or tell us what you can about this provisional arrangement between China and the Philippines. The DFA said that both countries have agreed on how to do RORE missions over at Ayungin Shoal, but there seems to be confusion over the specifics, with the Philippines saying that this involves the resupply of daily necessities and rotation missions, at ang sabi naman ng China, this will be a humanitarian resupply of living necessities. So magkaiba yung bersyon ng Pilipinas at ng China. Has an agreement really been reached, to your knowledge?
I would stand by with the statement of the Department of Foreign Affairs. I would support the pronouncement of the DFA that an agreement was reached. However, in those agreements that they have reached for us to ensure the continuous resupply and rotation operation, it is not prejudicial to our interests as in our position, the West Philippines.
Pero sabi ng China, magpapaalam. Sabi nila, inform China, they will conduct an on-site verification, and China will be monitoring.
But the DFA said no. So again, I would stand by with the statement of the Department of Foreign Affairs as part of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, and also as part of
Will
this
the
government.
Philippine Coast Guard be part of the succeeding resupply missions?
Gretch, the resupply operation is actually an Armed Forces of the Philippines operation. The only role of the Philippine Coast Guard, as I've always been emphasizing, is to support the resupply operation
So
of the Armed
will
Forces.
the PCG be part?
It still depends on the decision of the Department of National Defense and the Armed Forces of the Philippines, whether they're going to ask the Coast Guard to deploy our vessels.
Okay, so that's still up in the air. We'll take
Yes.
that. Okay.
Commodore, in light of this agreement, how does it affect the resupply missions? And meron po ba tayong mga security measures in place para matiyak natin yung safety pa rin ng mga Filipino troops natin?
Well, with regard to the arrangement that were already made by the DFA and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, those technical details hasn't been discussed yet on an operational level. So I don't have any details yet to disclose to the public with regard to the role of the Coast Guard and how are we going to do it on the ground.
So it will be a different policy this time. I mean, syempre nakasama na rin ako sa mga mission natin out in the West Philippine Sea. For this time, it won't be transparent. I mean, broadcasted.
I think there's a difference between broadcasting and transparency. Transparency is when we still choose to expose the aggressive action of China. The broadcasting, we've never done that. There's really no live broadcasting about the resupply operation. So, again, there are still some details that we have yet to discuss among the members of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea.
Okay, I will take you out of the hot seat before you say something that you're not supposed to. But let me move on over still with the West Philippine Sea and the South China Sea issue, but not quite near the Ayungin Shoal. I know that the BRP Teresa Magbanua has been busy over at Escalation Shoal. It has been there for a while. What is your plan with regard to Ayungin? Is just one part of this giant body of water. What about the rest of Coast Guard operations? Can you tell us something about that? Has anything changed? We know that the monster, and we have heard you in your press briefings, you're saying that paikot-ikot sila doon, malapit sa Palawan, and our biggest Coast Guard ship has been there for a while. Is it still there? And what's the plan?
Well, with regard to Escalation Shoal, the Philippine Coast Guard vessel, BRP Teresa Magbanua 9701 remains to be there. This is the longest deployment of the Philippine Coast Guard vessel in the West Philippine Sea. With regard to the monster ship, the 5901 of the Chinese Coast Guard, since July 3, it's still there as well. It maintains a certain distance to the 9701, monitoring our activity in Escalation Shoal. As to their intention there, I can't just speculate that probably they are there to, probably intimidate us, and then eventually for the Coast Guard vessel to go away. But, they have been doing this for more than 14 days already, and we're still there. So we are also thinking that they are documenting the activity of the Philippine Coast Guard vessel. What are the things that we're doing there? But for the Philippine Coast Guard, we are, the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Gavan, has given a very specific instruction to our personnel on board 9701 to have a radio challenge every hour for them to realize that it's the Philippines who have effective control in Sabina
Did you
Shoal.
do that 24 times a day?
Yes,
Just a radio,
every hour.
like a PA announcement.